Hello, my name is Katherine Jackson. I'm a student here at Clayton State University, and I am taking career paths in psychology with Dr. Erica Gannon. I have chosen to do my career path paper on the nephrology social work. Over the course of the re- over the course of my research, I found that 9% of the global population is affected by chronic kidney disease, better known as CKD. CKD is chronic kidney failure, and that is when a patient has lost total or partial of their kidneys and they're no longer functioning. Chronic kidney failure places a huge burden on the population, the medical, the financial, the social aspect. And the role of a social worker is very important and critical in these challenges that have been provided by the psychosocial care that is needed for these patients. Throughout my research, I've learned that listening and empathizing with the patient is an essential role in the nephrology social work. Renal social workers are part of a interdisciplinary team. The interdisciplinary team consists of the dietitian, the nephrologist, the nurses, and the patient care technicians, along with the facility administrators and their families. Together, they work to understand the plan of care for each of the patients. I've had the privilege to interview a renal care social worker. The renal care social worker that I interviewed, her name was Jemiah Bowman. Jemiah Bowman went to the University of Augusta and the University of Alabama, where she graduated with her master's degree in 2021. She later became licensed in the state of Georgia, and she later became licensed in the state of Georgia as a renal care social worker. Ms. Bowman stated that the most rewarding part of her job was that she had the ability to be able to help people that are in need. And she stated that she always had a passion for helping others. Um, one of the most part, Ms. Bowman stated that one of the most rewarding parts of her job is that she was able to make a difference in the lives of others. And that no matter whether how big or small, um, no matter how big or small that it was, that she was able to make a difference in the lives of other people. I've also learned that some most important qualities and skills that a social worker is needed to be is empathetic and to demonstrate strong communication skills with their patients. I then asked Miss Bowman, what was a typical day like at her work? Ms. Bowman stated that she comes in and checks her emails throughout the day and prioritizes what's most important. She makes rounds around the facility or the clinic, and then she she makes rounds around the facility, and then um, is extra support for the patients and whatever resources that they may need for that day. Um, she said that a renal social worker has to develop a good relationship with their patients, and also that she helps with handling the grievances and the educating of the patients and the patients of their families is one of the most important things as a renal social worker. I followed up with asking her what was one of the biggest challenges that she faces as a renal social worker. Ms. Bowman continued to say that as a renal social worker, she one of the challenges is that she has to deal with patients that and their families um, with offering grief in some sort of aspect from time to time, and that is one of the most challenging things as being a social worker. And she also stated that in addition to that being the most challenging, that the way that the counseling system is set up now, that it gives a lack of privacy and confidentiality between the patient and the social worker. So that is also a challenging aspect of being a social worker. Um, I during the time of this course, I've had the opportunity to take an assessment tool, and I find that one of the opportunities that you can find, whether if what career path that you would like to go on, is by taking the assessment tool. Um, and the assessment tool that I took discovered me as a SIE. SIE was the social, investigative, and the enterprising. Um, um, and the enterprising. Social identified me as being expressive, being able to get along well with others, and to work along in a group with others. Investigative stated that I can work independently with minimal supervision. And enterprise said that I was had the ability and to persuade other people, for example, selling and promoting brands, and being able to lead speeches with large crowds. Of all the three categories, the most shocking that I found was investigative, because I never thought that I was particularly good at using formulas or graphs or even solving math problems. um in this assessment, in this assessment, that was one of my downfalls. But as I went through the results of the SIE, I realized that my own that it did fit one of my own beliefs, and in addition to it, it did fit my own beliefs, especially in the social and the enterprising indications. Both of them really depicted my character accurately. Um, we when choosing a career in nephrology social work, there are three different academic levels: the bachelor's degree, the master's, and the doctoral. To become a social worker, the minimum education that is needed is a typically it's a master's degree, and which is the BSW, that allows for the entry level position. However, to be able to advance in a clinic as a clinical social worker, which is an MSW, you need to become licensed in the state of Georgia. You will have to go further, and with your master's degree, is the primary education that is required in the state of Georgia. Um, However, once you start with your bachelor's degree, and you can start with a bachelor's degree in any related field, so it doesn't necessarily have to, if you have prior education, it doesn't necessarily have to be you taking psychology, but it must be a bachelor's degree in order to start in the psychology, to become a social work um, social worker in the state of Georgia. So that is one of the paths that you can take. And related to the finances, to be a social worker, the salary ranges from 37,000 to 87,000, with the medium of 60,000 per year. Um, when it comes to the potential benefits of this career, this is where it has the effects on patients, the flexibility, and also the salary. One of the drawbacks that could be focused on the one of the drawbacks in this career is that it could be focused on the numbers and the analytics, because the company is a for-profit company, instead of focusing on the prevention of the kidney disease. Lastly, I do believe that because of the nature of chronic kidney disease, CKD, which it has potential room for growth, um, and that this would be a awesome and excellent career path to go down, because there is a need and for a social worker, and there is a need to be able to assist patients in this aspect. So this is the career path that I have chosen. I hope that you learn something and you learn more about becoming a nephrology social worker as I have. And thank you for your attention and your time in allowing me to be able to share this information with you.